everyone. I'm Tanya Van Court. I'm the CEO and founder of Goal Setter. I'm here with my family in Brooklyn, New York to bring your family fun financial literacy for the month of April,
which is Financial Literacy Month. I'm her daughter, Gabrielle.
And I'm her son, Hendrix.
And we're here to explain the stock market,
including the ups, the downs, and the great Corona. What is the stock market anyway?
The stock market is a marketplace where lots of companies' stocks are bought and sold. And many of these companies are ones that you've heard of, such as McDonald's, Walt Disney, JetBlue, Apple, Nike, and Bank of America.
And the stock market follows the basic laws of supply and demand. What drives stock price up is demand. Lots of people who want to buy the stock, which pushes the price of that stock up. It's kind of like you and your sister both wanted the apple pie for dessert, and mom only had one piece left. You'd be willing to pay as much as you could for that last piece of pie. What drives stock prices down is if there's less demand for a particular company's stock. Let's say your mom only had mud pie for dessert. You and your brother wouldn't want to pay as much for the mud pie.
That means the stock price of mud pie would be low.
For the past 10 years, the stock market has been in a record climb upward. That's what's called a bull market, when the stock market goes up consistently over a long period of time.
That means if you invested your money into the stock market in 2009, by 2019, you've made a lot of money.
In fact, one of the stock market indexes, the S&P 500, increased 325% in that 10-year period. So if you invested $100,000 in February 2009, you would have had $425,000 by February 2019. But unfortunately, bull markets don't last forever, because the opposite of a bull market is a bear market.
And a bear market is when the stock market declines by 20% or more, which is what just happened to us, all because of the Great Corona. What's the Great Corona, you ask?
The Great Corona is actually Hendrix's term for the economic downturn caused by the COVID-19 virus, or the coronavirus.
Our country has been through the Great Depression in 1929 and then the Great Recession in 2008. So what name is left to describe our current stock market troubles but
the Great Corona?
What has happened during this time of the Great Corona? Lots of stock market uncertainty, including many ups and downs, which is called volatility. So here's the story. On February 19th, 2020, the stock market was at an all-time high, but news of the coronavirus and its potential impact on the United States started to worry lots of investors. Why?
These companies that they knew and loved, the same companies that you know and love, were clearly going to lose lots of money because of COVID-19.
Restaurants were forced to close worldwide, which meant that McDonald's was going to make far less money.
US, in China, in Europe, and everywhere else the Golden Arches sells fries.
The Walt Disney Company closed their parks indefinitely due to fear of the coronavirus spreading, meaning far fewer people were visiting Mickey and Minnie, and the Magic Kingdom was losing money too.
JetBlue had to cancel lots of flights because people stopped traveling due to concerns about contracting COVID-19 on planes.
Apple shut down all of its stores and sold far fewer phones in China because people were quarantined in their homes and not out buying the latest Apple products.
And people who were quarantined in their homes aren't visiting Nike stores or buying new shoes.
All this adds up to one thing: scared investors who sell stock in all of these companies. And when people sell stocks, that means that there's less demand for those stocks, and the price of the stocks goes down.
And when other people see the price going down, they often panic. And so they sell their stocks too. So it becomes a needlessly dangerous cycle.
And the stock market going down makes people who had money in the stock market feel like they have less money because their stocks are worth less today than they were yesterday.
Which of course impacts the economy and how strong it is.
You see, our economy is consumer driven. If you feel like you have less money, you'll spend less.
So in many ways, the stock market drives the economy.
The stock market is falling. People feel like they have less money. People are spending less money. The economy is being negatively impacted. Haven't we seen this before?
We sure have, and we've seen even worse.
The biggest stock market crash we've ever seen happened in 1929, when the stock market declined by 89%.
And a crash like that doesn't repair itself overnight.
In fact, it took 25 years for the market to get back to the same state it was at before the Great Depression.
That was a depression, and a depression is like an extreme recession. The average recession doesn't see the stock market go down by 89%.
Yo, that's huge.
The average recession actually has a 35% stock market decline, which is why in the Great Recession, stocks declined by 49%.
Because it was greater than average. Get it? That's why it was called a Great Recession.
Even that Great Recession only took 4 years for the country to recover from. 4 years for the market to get back to pre-recession levels and for the economy to return to normal rates of unemployment and growth.
That's not so bad, right?
What does that mean for the current recession that we're facing due to the Great Corona?
It means that this too shall pass. But it's going to take a lot more than my mom buying 2 or 3 stocks for the stock market to recover.
First thing that it will take is good news. Investors like good news because it makes them believe that the future will be brighter and stock prices will go up. Investors are essentially betting on the future of the stock market, and good news today makes them believe that a stronger market is coming tomorrow.
Or at least a year from tomorrow.
The government relief package of $2 trillion that happened on March 27th made investors excited because it meant that people will have more money to spend to help bolster the economy. As a result, investors bought more stock, sending the Dow Jones up 14% over 2 days. But it's not just about economic relief during the time of the Great Corona, because of course, that's just throwing economic solutions at a healthcare problem. So long as there are signs of the number of new cases still peaking, people are still going to be uncertain about the future, and investors are still going to be wary of their money in the stock market.
When investors understand that the worst of it is behind us, like when there's a vaccination or effective treatment for the coronavirus, they will be optimistic about the future again. And that optimism will translate into investment in the stock market. And of course, just like the Great Depression and the Great Recession, recovery from the Great Corona will take time. It likely won't happen before we're all out of quarantine or even shortly thereafter.
So buckle up
Or buckle down.
And be prepared for an economy that's a little dicier than it has been over the last 10 years. That means we should all be saving more, spending less, and making sure that we're prepared for an economic downturn followed by economic recovery.
And no, the Great Corona doesn't mean that you should abandon the stock market entirely. Because remember, the people who abandoned the stock market after the 2009 recession didn't get to participate in 325% growth in the market over the next 10 years. And over the long term, the stock market is a great way for us to all build wealth.
And that's the Great Corona for you people.
Yay. Everywhere else is the gold, and everywhere else, and everywhere else is.
Take it from the top. The stock market is failing. Oops, falling. I can't read. I'm old. Sorry, guys.
Me.
Whoa.
The average recession doesn't see the, oops. Let me start again.
Mom!
You're supposed to lead the team.
Okay.
Exactly. We want to eat cookies now.